finds its expression only in service. And that service needs prosperity. So once we have a grander aim in life, we'll be happy. Many times, a person came to me and said, I'm not happy at all. He had a nice house. He had good money, because I used to think people who say money does not buy happiness have not seen either. So this person came and said, I'm not happy. I said, what's your problem? He was talking only about his kid, himself. I said, first, for you to get rid of this stress, go and get more stressed. Don't worry just about your kid. Start worrying about your neighborhood. Start worrying about your society. Then, believe it or not, paradox, your stress level comes down drastically. The more smaller circle we draw around ourselves, more stressed we are. More we expand, more happier we are. I have seen it. I swear to you, I have seen it. More you worry about the entire universe, you are the happiest person. I swear. And Paramacharya gives a beautiful explanation. He says Paropakara, isn't it? Paropakara is serving others. Paropakarartham idam shariram. This body is for the service of others. Jnaneshwar Maharaj of Maharashtra, in the 12th chapter, commentary gives a beautiful example that you should be like a tree. And a tree gives fruits. The fruits are not going to be useful to the tree. It will be useful to the society, isn't it? That's why we worship trees also. Because the fruits of the tree belongs to the society, others. Likewise, when we are serving others, you know what happens? The more and more we serve others, more and more the mind expands, making us more and more purer, making us more and more jnani, more and more a realized person. We are progressing towards the final aim. Expansion is life. So the entire purpose of prosperity should be understood, so that we can put our head, hand and heart towards what we are doing and do it as a joyful offering to the Lord. That is worship also. You start with worship is my work, where I spend some time worshipping my beloved. Over time, any work will become worship, because we clearly see it is Him acting through us. Ishvara arpitam na ichchaya kritam. When we are doing it, chitta sodakam mukti sadakam. So even if you don't worry about jnana, mukti, all those things are too high and I'm not even worried about it, don't worry. But at least take the right route. You may not need the destination now. Better to go in the right route when you want the destination on the right path. So the right path is earn well. Within the code of integrity ethics, locally and also as per our dharma. Both are important. And what do we do with the wealth? Mahabharata gives a beautiful proportion. One portion of it, keep it for yourself. One portion is for the family. One portion is for your relatives. One portion is invested. One portion for the service of others. Nice balanced life. That is the purpose of prosperity. And we have to be prosperous. And we should not think prosperity is a sin. There is a nice set of ethics called Subhashitam. Subhashitam, in that I'd like to quote a beautiful Subhashitam which says, Tapo na kalkaha. Tapo means penance. Don't think penance is a sin. Because many people read Prahalad Charitra, Hiranyakashipu did a lot of penance, he misused it. So penance is not a sin. You may laugh, but I went to Indonesia, we had a small children's get together. So I asked these little children out there, tell me, what do you think about puja? A little girl raised her hands. I asked, what's the problem? He said, my name is Puja. He said, no, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about puja, where your father or grandfather or at least great-grandfather would be worshipping your home. Then a little boy said, yes, I also know. I said, what's wrong? You're happy about it? He said, puja is very evil. Evil? What is he worshipping? He said, he's worshipping Krishna. I said, beautiful. Why do you say it's evil? He said, my grandfather is a very nice and a docile gentleman. But the moment he enters into the puja room, if my grandmother Pati does not bring the water in time, he starts shouting. If the prasada does not come in time, he starts shouting. Otherwise, a nice person, when he does puja, he becomes very angry man. Tapo na kalkaha, if it's done properly. Tapo na kalkaha, adhyanam na kalkaha. Generally, I used to be very afraid to sit with scholars. Even if I am quiet, they will try to pull some words out and start arguing. I am very much wary about arguments. Generally, I say, you are all sadhus, you are all great. I am a complete zero in what you are talking about, let me alone. Bala, bura, sab ka sun lije, par gujran, garibi mein, man laga mera yaar, fakiri mein. Kabir Das says, his word of garibi is different. He is saying, even the highest wealth, which is moksha, I don't want. I want to do only Ram Nam Kirtan, Ram Bhakti. That is what is called fakiri. So here, we should, adhyanam na kalkaha, learning a lot is not a sin. Then he says, swabhaviko veda vidhirna kalkaha, all the various acharana, as per Vedas we do a lot of rituals, rites, not a sin. And then he says, prasakhya vittaraharanam na kalkaha, tanyena bhavo pahatani kalkaha. All these things are not sins in itself. If it's abused, it becomes sin. That includes earning money. When we use the money and use it for a wrong end, only then it is a bane. Otherwise, prosperity is Lakshmi Kataksha. And we are sitting in Srinivasa Perumal's temple, isn't it? So prosperity is a sign of the divine presence. Bhagavan in the 10th chapter says, of all the Yakshas I am Kubera. Why? Because he is the Lord of prosperity. So prosperity is good if it is channelized in the right way. A knife is good if it's in the hand of a surgeon. If it is in the hand of a demented person, it's bad. Nothing is wrong with the knife. The problem is how we use it, isn't it? So prosperity has to be worshipped because it helps us to go one step above so that we can follow our dharma. We can do dhana. Bhagavan, while he's talking to Uddhava Swami, he's saying that only when you do a lot of dhana, a lot of Veda dhyana, over crores and crores of life, you will get that universal love towards Krishna. Dhana is the first thing he's talking about in Uddhava Swami's dialogue, which means more you give, broader you become. There is a joy in giving. There is a joy in giving, not advices. That comes for free. Joy in giving what we possess, without injuring ourselves to start with. And as we progress, when we see no differentiation, everybody is children of the Lord, Amritasya Putra, then we may even sacrifice our own needs to give, which is beyond our comprehension. Right now, let's not even talk about it. It's okay. So prosperity is good if it's channelized towards service of men of the Lord, which are not different. When we go and do service to the Lord, we are doing entire service to the mankind. When the Lord is pleased, the entire universe is pleased. See, people are slowly coming to that. I read a nice book written by an Indian American, or American Indian, or whichever we see it. He says that finally quantum physics is coming towards Brahman, Krishna. That's where everybody is coming to finally. The quantum physics is now in crossroads. Because so long they have been very clear on objectivity of science, which is the major, this is a major point between science and religion. They finally find out objectivity is not there because subject decides the actual incidence in quantum physics. Which means that subject is not I as a person, subject is consciousness. Shivam or Narayana or whatever name we call it, that consciousness. So that's what everybody is coming to. So the moment he is happy, he will make sure the entire world is happy. So prosperity has to be used for serving men. When I say men, I don't mean the gender bias. I'm used to that type of a language. Humans are serving the Lord in whichever way. In temples, in lecturing,